Now that I've recovered some things after my car got stolen, it's time for me to return to talking about what I love most. Movies, or so I thought. In this case, why not discuss the movie that everyone's been talking about since Valentine's Day? Madam Web. I mean, with all the attention it's been getting, it's gotta be a great film, right? Honestly, I wasn't going to have my first video in a month be about Madam Web. Originally, I had my Blade Runner 2049 video planned, which is still coming out later this week. But after seeing Madam Web over a week ago, I kept thinking to myself, I have to talk about this movie because this is quite literally the worst superhero movie of all time. Even if it has big sets, lots of CGI, a few star leads, and Sony as the studio behind it, everything that usually makes a movie is unseen in Madam Web. It doesn't feel like a real movie at all. So let's talk about why. First things first, the script. To nobody's surprise, Morbius was a terrible movie. This is a known fact among the public. So what does Sony do? They hire the writers of Morbius to write Madam Web. Seems like a great idea, right? Only if you're fiending for more morbing time jokes, I suppose. But if you were hoping for a truly great Sonyverse movie, you're gonna have to wait longer. Yes, Madam Web's acting is bad, and I'll get into that in a second. But it doesn't help that the dialogue and the story are complete crap. I legitimately sat in the theater so interested to learn why this movie was getting slammed by both critics and audiences. Spoiler alert, it didn't take me long to figure out. From the opening scene onward, nothing makes sense. Character motivations are never revealed, not a single conversation has weight, the story is bare to the bones, filled with repetitive scenes, and you can't help yourself but laugh at the dialogue as if it was written by someone like Tommy Wiseau. The acting. That didn't take long. The acting in this film is bizarre to me because there are plenty of capable actors featured in Madam Web. Maybe we can blame the script since that sometimes goes hand in hand with an actor's performance. However, in this case, even if the script had an impact, there's no excuse. The acting is fucking terrible. This is some of the worst acting I've seen in a movie in a long time. Dakota Johnson has proven herself before many times, but her performance here as Cassie Webb is similar to what we saw in 50 Shades of Grey. Yikes. Sydney Sweeney is apparently up and coming thanks to Euphoria fame, but Madam Web was not a great choice on her part. And the villain, whatever his name is, well, that doesn't matter now because the movie killed his career. Speaking of which, the villain. Okay, if you haven't seen the movie and don't want to get spoiled, click away now. But I don't care. The movie is so bad, I'd be doing you a favor anyway. So Madam Web's villain has zero development. In the opening scene, he kills Cassie's mom in order to steal this cool spider, which gives him powers that are never fully explained. Then he has these nightmares that the three young girls we meet later in the film will kill him one day, so he makes it his goal the entire movie to kill them. And for some reason, Cassie wants to protect the girls from him because she feels bad for them or something. Who the fuck wrote this? Oh yeah, these guys. The film's technical elements. Fun fact about myself, as much as I love watching movies in specialty theaters like IMAX and 3D, I refuse to watch a movie in 40x. I just know I'll throw up sitting through a movie presented in that format. Well, listen to this. I sat through Madam Web, feeling sick to my stomach the entire time. The only catch? I did not see the movie in 40x. I saw it in your standard movie theater. But the way this movie was made caused a sickness in the pit of my stomach. The cinematography has a variety of strange quick zooms, loads of shaky cam, and an insane amount of annoying edits non-stop throughout the film. For whatever reason, they thought having tons of camera movement mixed together with endless VFX cuts would improve their movie. Instead, it had quite the opposite effect. Not to mention, the movie doesn't sound good at all. The trailer only provided a glimpse of the disaster that is Madam Web's sound design. The loud action sequences, if you want to call them that, sound abnormal in comparison to other superhero movies. And from time to time when characters are speaking, it sounds like they're talking through a toaster. Oh, and again, speaking of the so-called action sequences, the action sequences. Did I say action sequences? I should have put the word action in parentheses. In Madam Web, there's actually minimum action. As stated earlier, during most of this movie, our villain is chasing the heroes throughout New York City, and that's as far as it goes. Unfortunately, we never see Cassie as Madam Web in costume in real time. The same goes for the three girls. They keep teasing it with future visions, but we never see them in costume in real time. So funny on Sony's part thinking they'd get a sequel. So yeah, this is pretty much the only superhero flick without a hero versus villain fight scene. I would call this a bold decision, but considering how boring and dull the entire movie is, I'd say it's anything but bold. It's pathetic. Again, did Sony really think this movie would be good enough for a sequel? You're forced to sit through 2 boring hours of what feels like raw footage, and we don't even get one entertaining action sequence to make up for it. Madam Web's direction. So we talked about the script and acting, so where's the film's directing come into play? I've seen some people blame this mess entirely on Sony. Maybe in some cases this is true. After all, I'm sure Sony made some creative decisions, but at the end of the day, they hired a director to make this movie feel like a movie. Sadly, this did not feel like a finished film. There are an infinite number of takes in Madam Web that I can't believe made the final cut. As a director, your job is to get a take that feels most believable by getting the most out of your actors who are following the film's script. And if the words the actors are saying from the script while filming don't sound believable, maybe that means you should have some rewrites. Or in Madam Web's case, I guess hire better actors, screenwriters, and directors. Because in the case of this film, it's nearly impossible to find a scene that emulates real life. Sure, no superhero movie has an action scene that feels realistic because superheroes don't exist, but at least the conversation scenes in many of them feel genuine and real. Unfortunately for Madam Web, it doesn't, and that is a big reason why this movie stinks. Thanks for watching this video, everyone. In only a matter of time, I'll be able to start making videos in front of the camera again, but until then, I'm content with creating videos in this format. Anyway, what are your thoughts on Madam Web? Let me know in the comment section. And of course, as always, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.